Hey there. I am so excited. Erin, this has been on my calendar for a while. And so the fact that we get to jump in here and chat together just makes my heart happy, especially because you're a fellow member of the Short Hair Club, which just always means that we have that connection.
Yeah, but you've got cooler earrings today. I just went with the studs.
That's all right. Hey, we can't do them big every day. So Erin, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do with your life, and all of that?
Sure. Well, I'm Eryn Morgan. I'm a business coach for designers and creatives. Most of my clients are online business owners who do just fabulous creative work in the world. And I live in Winterhaven, Florida. So it's a sunny, happy place to live. And I
Why have I never heard of that city? Like a perfect name for a city in Florida, Winter Haven. Yeah.
Is it not? And there's a funny little story like teeny little story about how I knew that this was where we were meant to be. First of all, my mom said you should move to Winter Haven. So my mom is usually right. But as we were traveling from Pennsylvania to decide like where we were going to live, my husband was looking for a job. We were making this transition. And I remember he was driving, it was nighttime, and we were like doing all the tunnels and all the stuff around DC. And I was just trying to
Okay.
like get a break. And I heard this little sound that said Haven. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? And I just stayed very open to it and very curious to see what would turn up. And lo and behold, here's where we ended up in Winter Haven, Florida. So like those
So
little
cool.
moments of serendipity and synchronicity are like my favorite things.
That's awesome. I love it. So you have been through the top program. And so I want you to think back prior to it and share a little bit about how you felt like your relationship with your time, your calendar, your task lists, all of that. What was kind of daily living like for you?
Yeah, well, it was pretty random. It was pretty chaotic. And I think that I had really strong time management skills before the pandemic. I had a lot of things that worked and I had a real rhythm in my business, but the shift in both society and in my business, and then we moved, right? Like I've mentioned, I sort of had no rhythm. I couldn't trust myself to remember that the things that were in my brain that needed to happen were going anywhere that was going to result in me remembering. So it was pretty chaotic. And um, I considered myself somebody who was good at time management. And I just found myself frustrated every day thinking, oh God, next week will be better. Next week will be better. And next week wasn't better.
Now, what kind of tools were you using for planning and organizing tasks and all that?
My brain,
Okay.
stacks of Post-it notes and random scraps of paper that were never labeled and there was never context. Random notebooks, lots of them because they're pretty and I
I
love
know, they're great.
stationery. It's like the best. I had my Google Calendar. I had some task lists in what I was trying to use Notion. I was really like
Oh,
super trying to build that out, taking a ton of courses, like really trying to make Notion work
mhm.
for me.
I tried to.
But that was chaotic too, right? So like to your point, like it was everywhere. So I couldn't trust that it was ever in one place.
Mhm.
And I could never find it if I was looking for it. So yeah, it was a lot of places.
I love that you mentioned like post-it notes with no context. There's nothing worse than it will still happen to me sometimes in my notebook where I'll see the note I wrote to myself and like 3 days later I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell that meant.
No idea this phone number must have so I find myself like Googling the phone number, trying to figure out who is this person,
Why
you
did
know,
I write this down?
right?
All right. So, talk us through your experience working through the top program because it is structured in a way where, the videos are pre-recorded
Yep.
so that you can go through them at your own pace. And then, if you're doing the accountability add-ons and you get the live calls and all of that. But I know people are always very curious and asking, how long are the videos? How long does it take to go through them? So, what was your experience? Because it's different for everybody.
Yeah. So I came into the program with the mindset of just trust Megan. Do what she's telling you to do. So I was going through the videos and really trying to be like the A+ student in watching the videos, but also in doing the work
Doing
that
the
we're
work.
asking
Love
me
that.
to do. So I was a little chaotic even in that because I was like, should I print the workbook or should I do it on my iPad? But either way, like I was doing the work. And I usually put your videos on 2x because for me, I
Yeah.
can catch and
Awesome.
grasp the concept and we could just go faster. So I
Love
went
that.
through pretty much the first 2 or 3 modules at that 2x, and I was just going through and going, well, no wonder you're overwhelmed, duh. And then when we got to the place of the weekly planning and then more of the advanced weekly planning, that's where I found myself needing to
Slow
slow
down.
down and implement a little bit more carefully. I also, I've I had so many ahas and awakenings about what I was doing both inside my life and my business that was causing me stress, that I even found myself saying, wait, let me go back one module, because I
Oh,
think
good.
that this point, if now that I found this wonderful tool that I love, let me shift how I do this. Let me think through this differently. So I've found a lot of reviewing, and I'm still doing it. I'm still enhancing my process, making it stronger, watching for where I fall down, because I do.
Well,
And
I mean, we're human. We all
right,
do. Yeah.
exactly. So I keep coming back to the videos for refreshers, or how did you describe this? Or maybe I missed something when I was going at 2x that I need to come back to. So I found them really digestible and really easy to follow. The steps were laid out logically, even though I was like, I want to race ahead. I want to race ahead. It was like, there was a reason that you did it that way. And I was like, just trust Megan, like, just do what she tells you to
I'm
do.
glad that you said that, because people will sometimes jump into the, like, they'll get the program and in module one, they're like, why, like, I'm ready, like, teach me weekly planning. And it's like, I can't, I could, but you need to have your inputs ready to go, or else the weekly planning will be painful
Yeah,
if it's not there. So I'm thankful that you trusted the process and did the work up front.
yeah.
So what would you say are some of your biggest takeaways or changes or kind of light bulb shifts that you've had?
The biggest one was, and this was a hard one, I had to quit Notion. Notion
Mhm.
didn't work for me. And I had spent a lot of time, energy, effort, and money on trying to get that system, and it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So that was a big awareness, that part of why I love tools, but I'm a big fan of like getting the tool to match. And so I was like, oh, I can customize everything. And it just didn't work.
Yep.
So that was a big aha moment. And that sometimes the sunken cost is just irrelevant and you have to move forward because it's holding you back. So I had that awareness for sure. I also have a lot more time than I thought I did. And I'm giving myself the kindness and the grace to say, no, you don't have to work 15 hours a day just because you could.
Yeah.
Like, maybe personal time is good. Maybe listening to the Power Game on the radio is an okay use of your time this evening. Like, so I'm kinder to myself
Love
overall
that.
about not filling all of my moments with work and being more balanced in that. So I even got yoga into my schedule.
And it's so like doing that goes so against the grain of our productivity culture,
Yeah,
especially for women. Oftentimes, I think we marry our worth to our output, right? I'm worthy if I am, quote, what the outside world would consider productive,
yeah,
and recognizing that is not how we measure our worth at
right.
all. So important. And for those of you watching that, you're like, what is she talking about with Notion? So if you're unfamiliar with Notion, it is a online platform. It's a tool that you can, it's almost like a whiteboard in your office. Like, what are you going to build? But it is, and I invested a lot of time early when it was first coming out. So I was like, maybe I could build an entire top framework template for my students in here. Like you, I invested a significant amount of time. And it is something that you could basically turn into, you could create project management systems, tools, lists. I mean, you can customize it to the nth degree. And whenever someone asks me like, oh, would you use Notion? My response is always, if you are super tech savvy, maybe. But
Yeah.
even
And
then,
you
I
know
won't say yes.
where else it breaks down for me is the mobile friendliness. It is
Oh,
just not
interesting.
mobile friendly. So when I need to be in that space of on the go, dump the task that just popped in my brain somewhere, and I go, it was clunky.
I didn't even get to the mobile aspect of
Yeah,
it.
it was just clunky in mobile. And so the layers of complexity to it. And so I found a different tool, which I'm thrilled with.
What are
And
you using now?
I'm using a tool called SmartSuite,
Oh,
and
nice.
I am in love with it because it
Okay.
has the same level of flexibility in my ability to create those fields and craft those fields, but the mobile is solid. and they came out of the gate with a really strong product. So even though they're newer, everything works, everything
Super.
works the way it should. And I've been able to actually get that master backlog in the SmartSuite, and I can review it and I can prioritize it. And like all the things that you were asking me to do in the videos, I was just dying in Notion. I couldn't do it. So I thought, let me try something else. And it's
Yeah.
free. The best part of SmartSuite is
Gotta
free.
love a good free tool. And I think you bring up an important point. Going through the top program, is there a requirement to use certain tools or software to make
No,
the framework
no,
work?
use what works
Yep.
for you. And I mean, you were really great about giving a lot of variation. So like if you're a paper planner person, here's the way to do it with paper planner. If you're digital, here's the tools to use. And you're really good about introducing and recommending Trello as one of the tools. And I've used it in the past. I like it. But what I found is that you were teaching me concepts and frameworks that were platform agnostic. It
Yeah.
didn't matter what I used, the tools and techniques I was learning and putting into place were going to work either way.
Well, now
So
you
that's
don't have to go
really
check
great.
out that tool because that's not one I've played with yet. I could see
Oh,
myself heading down into a rabbit hole later today.
oh, down you'll go, Megan. It'll be just so fun.
Now, people often ask, is this program just for business owners like yourself? Because I am one as well. Or do these principles apply outside of being a business owner?
No, it's definitely for both. So I think one of the early exercises where you ask us, like, what hats are we wearing? The hats that I'm wearing are going to be very different than someone who's a mom with a couple of kiddos hanging out, especially in summer, right? And this is like a time when, you might have A days and B days, right? Your recent video talking about how
Yeah.
you shift that. Maybe you're somebody who doesn't have a business, you have a job that you go to, and then you have commuting that you got it. There's just like so many variations, and then mom, wife, daughter, friend, neighborhood party planner, like all the different roles you might play. And I think that that's one of the coolest parts of this is that you help us identify all those roles and validate ourselves for all the things we're actually doing.
Yeah.
And then help us fit it into who we are and what we've got going on. I found great value in learning from you because you have a business. So you were always giving those extra tips and techniques that were just for small business owners like me. But I would recommend this to really anyone who is looking to get control of their time in a way that feels right for them and that is a long lasting solution that they're not going to have to just keep finding the next thing.
Mm.
It really has the stick and stay that I look for.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Erin. You are to me exactly why I do what I do. My hope for anyone that invests in the program is don't invest in it and then not watch it, right?
Right.
Nothing's going to change if you don't do it. So I just want to give a huge shout out to you for
Oh, thank
actually
you.
diving in, doing the work, implementing it, tweaking it to fit your life, and then for taking your time to come here and share that with everybody
Yeah. Well,
today.
I'm so grateful to be part of this and to be in your community around your cool people and learning from you. It's been a total honor and joy.
Oh, thanks. And guys, if you want to dive in and check out the top program, we've got the link down below that you can click on, go learn all about it, see if it is the right fit for you or not, and have your life shifted and changed as Erin did. So thank you so much, Erin.
You're so welcome. Thanks you, Megan.